Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of the Brave Purpose podcast. My name is Anisa L. Wesley, and I am your host. Thank you for joining me. This is another episode in season 2 of Brave Purpose, where I am bringing on very amazing people that I so happen to call my friends and my sisters and brothers in Christ, and who have a lot to give and share in regard to living out your purpose bravely. So I have a very, very special guest today. Ty Scott King is my friend that is, first of all, I don't even think I can name all of the things that she does and how amazing that she is, but she is an award winning artist. She is a beautiful wife. She is a daughter. She is just a sweet, genuine soul. And I just want to welcome her on to here, and she can give you a little bit more background of who she is. So, without further ado, welcome, Ty.
Thank you, Anisa. It's
Hello.
a, it's a blessing to be able to hang out with you. I'm so proud of you. I
Oh,
remember when you were talking about doing this. I remember when you were talking about the book, and you honored me with being one of the people who got to have an early peek at it. So I appreciate it. As you shared in the intro about me, um, I am a multifaceted individual who
yeah.
I like to say everything spurs from the ability God has given me to write. And so with
Mhm.
that writing gift, I get to share that through poetry, through hip hop, through being an author, a speaker, and God just opens doors. And half the time, I don't know what I'm doing. I'm just like, this door, Lord. Okay. All right. Door number one. All right. We're going through door number one. So God has given me the opportunity to stand on a lot of platforms that I'm still in awe about. I was putting these out behind me, but I have a key. I got a key to a city.
Oh,
Yeah,
wow.
it's over there.
What?
It's over
What
there
city?
somewhere. But yeah, I'm just like, Lord, sometimes I don't even remember some of these things, but He's just been so good.
That is amazing. Like, I mean, that just speaks to the favor on your life and just how
Yeah.
good God is to you. So, thank you for sharing that, because I think sometimes we see people that have achieved as much as you, and we're kind of like, they must have it all together. And you come on, and the first thing you say, I don't know what I'm doing. I just go. So, thank you for freeing me today.
Right. It's, my husband always says, if you want to make God laugh, tell him about your plans. And
Mm,
so I am a planner. I have like spreadsheets of things that,
mm,
I've been in prayer. I believe these are the things God wants me to do. But I heard someone else say you have to hold on tightly, lightly, I think was the way they put it. So we
mm.
have these things that we're like, okay, God told me to do this and I'm going to run and I'm going to do this vision. But when He tells you to, if you need to let that thing go or if it needs to morph into something else, we have to be okay with that.
Yeah.
So that's why I say I don't know what I'm doing. I'm being led by the Holy Spirit. As
Yeah.
I'm trying to be as much as possible.
I love that. And I think that that is like a lost thing nowadays. Because a lot of people are being led by a lot of other things.
Mm,
And I love how you said you have to hold on. I can't remember what she said, but I get this vision of like holding on to something.
yeah,
And I remember this picture, like, I don't know if it was like an Instagram picture, but it was like a picture of what was supposed to be like Jesus. And then it was a little girl, and she had a teddy bear behind. No, she had a teddy bear in front of her. It
yeah,
was a small one.
yeah,
And God is like, you got to let this go. And she's like, but I don't want to. I love it. And God had like a huge teddy bear behind his back, and she was holding on to the little one. And
right.
so I think that speaks so much to, like, sometimes we are holding on to things that maybe
Hmm.
we were supposed to do for a season, and then
Yes.
God is like, actually, I know you like doing this. I know this is fun for you, but I'm calling you to something else, something
Right.
bigger. And,
Right.
so I love that. Hold on tightly, loosely. Is that what you said?
Actually, I think I said tightly, lightly, but I think it's loosely, and it's not my phrase. I heard it or read it somewhere, and
Okay.
I've adopted it because
Okay.
it's just the truth. That's
Hmm.
what we have to do, and that's what we have to do to be brave, right? We have to say, okay, the same God who told Abraham that Isaac was going to be, here, and he was going to be the father of many nations, told him to sacrifice Isaac, and then he
Hmm.
provided the ram, like the same God.
Yeah.
All these three things, same
That.
God. Just, okay, what do you want me to do now? what
Hmm.
is what is the assignment now? Because just like you said, it's, it could be this thing that we love, that we're great at, that other people are like ooh ah and about, and God is like, okay,
Hmm.
I don't want you to do that anymore. For me, it's been singing. I
Mm.
grew up singing, and I thought singing was going to be like the thing, and then I was writing poetry, but I was leaning into the singing side more. And
Hmm.
then over the years, poetry, rap, and I'm grateful for those gifts, and I lean into those the most. But before we went live, I was just around here singing. That's
You
what I
were.
enjoy. But I don't. For years, I struggled because I felt like I'm not a singer. And then God had me
Mhm.
release that song, I Don't Break. And I was like,
Mhm.
okay. And last year, that was my biggest um, streaming song. The song around
Wow.
singing and rapping. I'm like, okay, God has always had me writing songs, but I've
Mhm.
been pushing back, like, no, let me give it to somebody else. This person has a great voice. And he's like, I gave these to you because I want you to do them. And
Wow.
that's been scary.
I'm I love how calmly you said that. But yes, and I think man, that's the thing that you didn't really want to do or didn't feel kind of like adequate at, it sounds like,
Yeah.
is the thing that God was like, "Here, I'm just going to blow this up real quick."
Right. Just real quick.
Just
Let me do this
like
right quick. You know what I'm saying?
let me show you what happens when you're obedient.
Mm.
Wow, that's good, Ty. So I'm
I'm
gonna
like,
note
just don't
this.
ask me to do this song in person. That's my next thing. I'll do it, Lord, but just people can
That's the
just
next thing
download
he
it and
gonna ask
stream it.
you. Mm-mm.
Yes, I
Just
know.
because you don't want to do it. This is what
I
you
know
know.
it.
This is how he works, right? Okay. But I'm gonna ask you. You kind of been hinting at it a little bit, as being a writer and some of the other things that you've been talking about. But what do you feel? And I know this is kind of a weird and hard question, but hear me out.
Yeah.
What is your, or what do you believe is your God given purpose?
I believe that my purpose is to encourage and remind people, especially people who didn't grow up in the church like me, that God loves them and has a plan for them. Because, and even, I, my purpose is to stand in the middle. I'm a connector. I'm aware of this. And so I connect just like I do poetry and I rap. I was born in America, but I was born in Jamaica but raised in America. I stand in the middle. I wasn't raised in church, but I'm a Christian, and I feel like I'm the bridge between the church and the world. So I'm a connector to my core.
That's powerful. You're a connector. Even when you said that, I was like, that's a great word for everything that you do. Because I see you in kind of like different spaces with different people. You don't just connect with Christians.
Right.
Like you kind of be around everybody. But
Yeah.
I think you're always true to who you are and
Mhm.
who God's called you to be. So I think that connects too, because like you're just unashamedly yourself.
And yes, we're in the world, but we're not of it. That's what the
Mhm.
scriptures say. And so um, that's the I have a piece on my on the poetry album that I released and it's called Connector. And it talks about how
Mhm.
everything I've always done, like it's just been me. And I didn't realize it for decades. But one day it just the Holy Spirit just showed me like this is the purpose. I need
Mhm.
you to be this connector. And it's super uncomfortable because it's like you're in the middle. You're
Mhm.
not fully this, not fully that.
Mm. Yeah, I can see how that can be uncomfortable too.
Yeah.
But it sounds like that's something that it's just you.
Yeah,
Like
I'm grateful to just, show up how I show up in
right.
whatever space God drops me in.
Hmm. And I think that's a beautiful thing and why he keeps putting you in these spaces and blessing you because he
Mhm.
knows that's your heart. So, thank you for sharing the gifts that you have with the world and um, just for being yourself. Because I think being yourself is a part of, you know, our purpose too. Like
Mhm.
who we are, obviously we're children of God, but I think
Mhm.
also like our personality, like how we look, their
Right.
features, things like that, they connect no,
Yes.
with the people that we're supposed to draw,
Yes. Yes.
and
Yeah.
so like I think that's as you show up as yourself, you're able to connect with the right people who is drawing
Right.
to you.
Right.
But
And I
yeah, thank
still have
you.
to remember to, I mean, I wasn't always comfortable doing that. I
Mhm.
wasn't always confident about it. And there's still days that I'm like, ooh, should I, even with like earrings, I'm like, maybe I should just blend in or, you know what I mean? Just different things like, no, Ty, just be cool, just blend in. And it's not that I just am always purposing to like stick out. It's just
Right.
sometimes my mind goes like, okay, just don't be extra. Just
Yeah.
I just the enemy tries to tell me not to be myself, basically, whatever
Mm.
that is, because I'm not always this. I want to show up and be the entertainer. Like
Mhm.
I'm a true ambivert. I love I love going into my shell and just my quiet time, zero noise.
Mhm.
I love my husband, but put in your earbuds. I just need peace and quiet. And then, the gifts that God has given me
Mhm.
require me to be an extrovert.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think I like how you said that an ambivert. People don't know that that exists. They think
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of people have heard of introvert, extrovert, but they haven't heard of ambivert, which is kind of like the middle one where
Right.
you really
Which is
enjoy
the
both.
connection.
Okay, there it is again. Look, so you really gain your energy from both. You can right from
Right.
both being with people, but also with being by yourself.
Right.
And so I think that's a good part that you've recognized about yourself too, like how you draw energy and like what you need.
Hmm.
I heard you say that it was a challenge for you to kind of like be like show up as yourself
Right.
sometimes because of either your own voice, your own insecurity, or even the enemy trying to, say something to you or tell you the lies that he only speaks.
Right.
Um, how have you been able to kind of overcome some of those lies and,
Hmm.
still press forward in purpose?
Yeah, it's really hiding myself in Christ. My spiritual father, I remember he taught a series about um, our identity and how our identity is found in him, which is biblical, right? So it's really been like when I feel insecure, when I'm frustrated, when I'm feeling like I'm missing the mark in some way, or I'm not where I believe I should be after all these years, and I'm running down my resume in my head. It's really saying, okay, Lord, I am exactly where you want me to be, doing exactly what you want me to do at this time. So hiding hiding, literally hiding myself in him has been the best thing, because I know that he's only going to do what's best for me. He doesn't have a evil plan for me. Jeremiah 29:11, he has legit the best plan. So that's how I've gained a lot of security, just remembering this is not my life. Yes, I get to make choices, but ultimately my life is surrendered to the one who has already seen the end from the beginning.
Yeah, I love that you're hidden in him. Like, I think that's powerful because um so many times if it seems like it all depends on us,
Yeah,
like we have to show up, we have to do this, we have to be this way, we have to impress these people. And it's really like, nah, you just have to be yourself and allow God to do the rest.
exactly.
And I love that because I think you really just took all the pressure off of yourself. I don't know how
Yeah, yeah,
often you have to do that because I'm sure that's not like a one time deal, like
right. No,
surrendering is like a daily, right?
no, no. It's every day, many, 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 many. As Lauren Hill and the Fugees said, many times a day, many times every single day.
Yeah.
And some days it's like, you wake up and you just know it. You know it,
Mhm.
and you know where God's got it. I don't
Mhm.
have to stress. I don't have to stress. I don't have to strive.
Yeah.
And then the other days it's like, oh my God, what's happening here? You know what I'm saying? I gotta hustle, and
Mhm.
not faith without works is dead. So I'm not saying don't work and just, but
Right.
work does not always look like the way that the image that we have in our minds, where
Yeah.
it's like just going, going, going.
Mhm.
Work is in prayer. Work is in resting.
Mm.
Work is in spending time with the Lord.
That's work. Yes. And this work on yourself. Yeah, like
Yes.
I'm I know my responses are so like but I'm serious though because I think yesterday I was talking to someone and I think resting came up and it's so hard for women I think to rest,
Mm-hmm.
especially black women. Like we just think it's just like got to keep
Right.
going. If I'm not going, then something's wrong, or I'm not doing a good job or
Right.
something. But
And if
I
I
just
don't do it, who will?
listen. I literally said that to somebody the other day. I said that to Iron, and and I caught myself like, "Ooh, that's terrible." But but that's literally the mindset sometimes. And I got this vision of a racetrack. Like, I've
Mm-hmm.
never been to like a NASCAR in person, but I've seen it
Mm-hmm.
like on TV. And I got this vision of a racetrack, and it just was brought to my attention that even in that race, they have to stop. They have to do a pit stop so that
Mm-hmm.
they can make sure that everything is functioning properly.
Mm-hmm.
This type of rest is not
Mm-hmm.
bad because you have to rest there and do the pit stop to make sure that you can finish the race adequately.
Right.
And so
Right.
I think that when you're talking about that, like
Mm-hmm.
resting in God, like doing things that don't necessarily look like work, but they're actually a part of the work. So
Mm-hmm.
that came back to my mind as you were talking because it's just like we have to remember that this is a part of, like, if we just keep going on empty, like
Right.
it's just not going
Yeah.
to there's not going to be
It's
fruitful.
not sustainable or fruitful. Yeah.
Mhm.
And as my oldest,
Uh-oh.
older, sometimes
Uh-oh.
she doesn't like when I call her one or the other. But my one of my sisters,
Yes, your seasoned
she's
sister.
always she would always remind me, even Jesus rested.
Mm,
Like, touche.
right? Jesus was always retreating, going somewhere. 3 in the morning. I'm like, okay, God, I don't know if I could do the 3 a.m. But but he was. He was going, he was taking a nap on a boat. Like,
Right.
So, like, hey, we could take a nap. We need to just lay there and let God do His thing. He's,
Right.
I think you remember the storm was going and he's just taking a nap.
Yes.
So,
Yes.
but yeah, that's good.
And woke up like, what is the problem, y'all?
Right. This is calming. It's like, no, it's not. This
This
is
is a
not.
small thing.
Yeah. But yeah, so okay. Um Hold on, I'm gonna edit this part out.
All right.
But I wanted to ask you the next question, but I can't remember what it was.
What? What is it?
Exactly. Let me see. Oh, okay, I found it. Um okay. Well, what is one fear that you feel like you've had to overcome to get to where you are today?
Fear I had to overcome. Um, people,
Oh,
people,
I'm gonna put you on the screen for that. Hold on.
people, people. Yeah, the fear was people, what people would think, what people would say, how people would feel, how people would receive the things I'm saying. And what I believe, if I could pinpoint a moment where that changed for me, um, the first book I released was a poetry book. And in that book, I put in a poem about my parents and how tumultuous their marriage was. My parents got divorced. I want to say I was about 7 years old or so, 7 or 8. And in that poem, I talked about um, how my dad was physically abusive to my mom, and just I don't know, just some of the craziness. And thank God that he's restored and redeemed relationships, right? My parents split, my mom got remarried, my dad got remarried, have great relationships. My mom passed away, but I had a great relationship with her. I still have a great relationship with my dad. But when my mom read that and if she said something to the effect of, if I hadn't gotten over this before I saw this in print, this would have really hurt. And it was freeing to me to know that I could like lay it all out, and and it really wasn't my it was my life but also my mom's, and that I could lay it all out and she wasn't angry about it. And something about that unconditional love and acceptance that we have from God as Christians, we know that. um but that was just key. It was just I just feel like it was a moment that really impacted me so big that everything else kind of paled in comparison. So over the years, it's still been hard for me to navigate people and what they're thinking and how they're feeling. And I remember someone telling me, "Oh, Ty, you give PR answers," and that's because I have practiced for interviews, for life, and just sometimes I can't detach myself from that easily because I want to give the perfect answer or the appropriate answer for that situation, for every situation.
Yeah.
But I really that conversation with my mom many moons ago really clicked something in my head and my heart to say, these are just these are just facts. I'm not saying anything that's not true.
Mhm.
And it's from my perspective, and I can I get to own that,
Yeah.
for better or for worse.
Mhm.
um and so that set the stage for me to say, okay, other people, all these other people in the world, if my mom can handle this hard truth, I'm going to give you these hard truths, and we're just going to work it out.
That's I mean, how freeing is that to put that in a book
Yeah.
about your poetry book, about your upbringing, and it was your experience, like you said, but it was also a part of your family experience, your mom's
Right.
experience. And
Right.
I think that's a risk we always take when we're telling
Mhm.
our truth, when we're telling our story, is that people involved might be offended.
Right.
They might feel some kind of a way.
Right.
And I think it's still important, like you said, for you to, or for us to still share our perspective, because that's healing.
Hmm.
Like, the work that you did was healing for you. And I think it
Right.
might have been healing for your mom too, to read it.
Right. And I would
But
say for my dad as well. And
okay.
I'm I have to say this because when I say that God like restores, does all these things, I want to give a real example.
Mhm.
Um, the first there well, not the first, but there was a Thanksgiving when we were all together. My mom, my stepdad, my dad, we were at another relative's house. And when it was time to pray, and I saw my mom and my dad, not my mom and my stepdad, not my dad and me, like my mother and my father, who had been in this crazy relationship where they birthed six amazing children together and all this, but had all these issues. When they grabbed hands to pray,
Mm.
it wasn't like somebody get between us. It's like that moment. It's like, okay, this is what forgiveness looks like.
Mm.
This is what not caring what people think. This is what the power of prayer and being brave and
Yeah.
just letting go and allowing God to write the story. This is what it looks like.
Wow. Yeah, I mean, the fact that you got healing from people in your own family, I think
Hmm.
that speaks volumes.
Hmm.
That you
I
just
don't
saw
care
this.
what they think. I ain't gonna be out in these streets doing all kind of crazy stuff and being reckless.
I know what you mean. Yeah, yeah. I know there's a certain level of, I get that. And then certain people's opinions matter more, right?
Hmm.
Like, um, but I think I get what you're saying. It really helped to restore that hope to you. It sounds like,
Right.
and it showed you what that reconciliation looks like.
Right. Right. Yeah.
But in your own family, like, I
Yeah.
think that's powerful.
Yeah. Yeah.
Good. Thank you for sharing that, and um, continuing to write your story and share your story too. Because I think that might, not it might, I think that does help other people too when they read our stories, or when they hear, like, even watching
Mhm.
this podcast. I think that brings healing too.
Yeah. I hope so. I hope so. It's never my intention to just put stuff out there. I was very prayerful about those poems, and that was
Hmm.
one that I feel like God released me to share. And I tried to do it as respectfully as I could, but I do pray that it
Hmm.
blesses other people because that's why they're in there.
Yeah. I'm like, and that's vulnerable to share. So it does, I think it is important to be led when you're sharing these different parts of your heart.
Yeah.
Um, you know, because it's wild out here in these
That
streets.
it is. That
But
it is.
you hidden in God, right? So you don't
Amen.
have to worry about the wildness too much. Um, and I think that the last question I'll ask is, what, I don't know if I want to go there yet, but what encouragement, I guess, what encouragement would you share with someone who is struggling to kind of live out their purpose, their calling, use their gifts? Like, what encouragement would you share with them?
Hmm. I would circle back to the fact that God is really the ultimate. God is the secret sauce. Yes, I'm trying to phrase it properly. Like, stop putting so much pressure on yourself. It doesn't all hinge on your perfection, your um ability to just do it all. Like, s- remember that God purposed you to do something for a reason, and that He will empower you to do what He has purposed you to do. And to just rest in that, relax in that, like, lay back in that. I think it was Carrie Job had a song and she said, I want to sit at your feet, drink from the cup in your hand, lay back against you and breathe, feel your heartbeat. And it's about, really being that close to God and remembering that He's the source. If there's ever a moment where you feel like you're not thriving in your purpose, you don't know what your purpose is, it's all connected to your relationship with Him. Like, go back to the maker. If you We probably all heard this example. Your car is not acting right, you take it to the mechanic, you take it to the maker. Unless you know how to unless you're a mechanic, you know what I'm saying? But you still have to fix it somehow. And so take yourself. You are the creation. Take yourself back to the creator and seek his wisdom and his guidance on every step. The pressure is not on you. The pressure is on him. And he gonna make it do what it do every time.
Wow, that's good. God is a secret sauce, isn't he? Man,
I'm this is all a reminder to me.
me too. Cause I mean, I'm like, I do need to relax. Let me push my shoulders down. Like, it's just
That's
like,
what my physical therapist was like. Relax.
it's okay. Life. It's like, but yes, we need to relax. I love that song too by Carrie Joe. I can't remember the name, but I love that one. But
Mm-hmm.
as you were saying the lyrics, I'm like, I know that one, and um, that's such a good reminder. Relax in Him, allow Him to, like. I love how you said, put the pressure on Him, on
Right.
God. Like, give Him. It's like giving Him our burden, giving
Mm-hmm.
Him our expectation, or
Mm-hmm.
the expectation we feel other people have of us. Give Him that.
Mm-hmm. Right.
The
Yeah.
expectation we think we have to perform, you
Right.
know, let us relax and rest
Right.
in God.
Right.
And I
Yeah.
think everything else flows from that.
Exactly. One of our really good pastor friends, and we served at his church, was under his leadership for years. He would always, and I feel like he was always directing it to me because he knows how I can strive and I want to be perfect. And he would always say, "You have nothing to prove and no one to impress."
Mm,
And that has rang in my ears for the last 6, 7 years. Anytime I'm on a stage somewhere, or I'm doing an interview, or just every moment that I feel like I got to do it, I got to do it, I
hmm.
hear his words: "You have nothing to prove and no one to impress."
I love that. I love
Uh,
that.
Pastor Terrence Brooks, please credit him.
I mean, you already did it. You credited him.
Not you, but anybody else out there
Oh yeah,
watching.
yeah. Yeah, don't be stealing stuff. So that's not your words, right? They give honor and credit where credit is due. But I love that. I think that really hits for me. I'm still processing it.
Mhm,
so
mhm,
so
mhm.
because that's good.
Yeah.
But thank you for that reminder, and for um honestly, I love that you showed up just as yourself, kind of like, look, I'm still doing all this stuff that you're saying, and you're still dealing with some of these things.
Mhm.
Um, Not that you have perfected anything, but that you have
Mm.
learned how to rest.
Yeah.
Um, and I think that's an important part. Like in my journey too, I'm realizing and recognizing when I'm getting restless, when I'm starting to feel like I'm striving again, and I
Right.
have to just remind myself to rest and to
Mhm.
trust, you know, that
Right.
this is not like this is not about me, really. It's
Hmm.
about
Mm.
who God has called me to,
Mhm.
right? And who he's trying to reach through me,
Right.
but it's not about me.
Right.
And kind of like taking that pressure off. I think that might be my theme for this month, this
Mm.
year, just taking the
Mm.
pressure off.
Wow.
Um, yeah, but that was really good, Ty. Yeah, I think I don't know. Did you have anything else you wanted to share? Anything that comes to mind?
Um, I don't. I don't really. No. So I
Okay.
feel like, as the theme, as we've talked about being brave, let's be brave enough to trust God.
Yeah.
That's
Mm,
that's a lot of bravery.
that takes a lot.
Yeah. Not
Takes
trust his timing,
mm,
trust his wisdom, trust his leading,
mhm.
trust his plan. Like there's so much I need to trust trust him for all the time, you know. And
Mhm.
that's we're brave when we do that because it's very countercultural.
Mhm.
Who you gonna trust? What you waiting for? You gonna wait like
Yeah.
I'm waiting on God. I mean, to a certain extent, God is sometimes he's like, okay, I done told you what to do. You don't need to wait on me no more. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? Do what I said.
Mhm.
Um, but until we know that, even I I'm thinking about like the fact that a lot of people, including myself and my husband, fast at the beginning of the year or any time of year.
Mhm.
And for us, we choose the beginning because it's like we're giving God a tenth, an offering. And I feel behind in my brain. It's like I should have had this, I should have done that, and it's all content related. It
Uh.
really is. You know what I mean? It's like, okay,
Mhm.
I want to release this stuff this year, and I want to release these songs and these poems that I feel like God has told me to do. But He's also told me, I need you to just sit at my feet.
Yeah.
Be brave enough to surrender your calendar to me.
Ooh, surrender the
That's
calendar. Somebody
surrender.
needed that word. Okay.
Surrender the calendar. Surrender the timing.
Yeah.
Just stay with me for a while longer,
Mm,
and I'll accelerate those plans because if I gave them to you, I want them to happen.
mm.
But yeah, surrender the calendar.
That's
That's for
good.
me and for y'all.
Yes, that's for me too. I think that's for more people than we probably know and think, right? And I
Mhm.
love how you said when you surrender your plans, your calendar, so to speak, God then can accelerate what He wants to do in you.
Mhm.
So I love that. Accelerate is a great word. Like I feel like there's so much into that. You're a writer. I love
Yeah.
words, so I'm just thinking about what that actually means.
Yeah.
So,
Mm.
but thank you so much for sharing your heart today, Ty. If you could, I mean, let the people know where to find you. I see your at is already there, but is there anywhere else you want them to look you up and find you?
Yeah, sure. On all social media platforms, as the handle says, you can find me at I am Ty Scott King. And if you're not on social media, it's just not your thing, I have a website. It's tyscottking.com.
Awesome. Okay, Ty. Well, thank you so much. I'm gonna close us out, and yeah, thank you for sharing today. I feel like that was refreshing to me. So I
Mm.
appreciate your wisdom and your authenticity.
Thank you for having me on. I appreciate the time.
Of course. Thank you for saying yes. Well, thank you everybody for watching. I hope that this interview with Ty was encouraging to you, and that it really is helping you to continue to live out your brave and purposeful life without fear. So make sure that you go and like, share this with somebody that needs it, somebody who needs some refreshment and encouragement. And make sure you go follow Ty. And I will see y'all next time. Thank you for joining me. Bye.